जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम डिवोटीज।
Narsi Marti, 2 minutes, just do the Narsi Marti.
माता जी हरे कृष्णा।
Yeah, do the Narsi Marti, na?
Yes, माता जी, sorry, I couldn't hear that. Okay. नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्याकाशीपूर्वक्षः शीलटङ्कानकालाय यतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामित्यतो नरसिंहा बाहेर नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव कर कमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुत श्रृंगा ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवसीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की जय, भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, जगत गुरु श्री शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the Prabhupada ki jai. Where were we last time? And have you all
Start
prepared for the examination? Your exam is on Sunday, huh? I inquired with Bindu Mataji. Exam will be conducted on Sunday. So, are you all prepared for it? Nikhil has joined. Haribol. How much preparation all have done? And which are the words? Which are the chapters, Kusum?
1, 2 and 3, Mataji.
1, 2 and 3. Okay. Today, which chapter we have to start? Nobody has put in the group.
Chapter 8.
Chapter 8. 8.2.1. 8.2.1. Okay. So just put in the group 5 to 8 o'clock. Exam will be there.
Okay, Mataji.
6 chapters or only 3 chapters? This will be there. Only 3 chapters exam?
Yes.
Okay. So 2.8.2. We started now only, this 8th chapter. A long gap was there. 8.2, we stopped in 1 hour, no? Vibhul? Questions by
We
King
did
Parikshit.
up to chapter 7.
We did up to chapter 7. So 8.1 we have to start, no?
Yes, Mataji.
So questions by King Parikshit. So your exams are decided that this will be 1, 2, 3, afterwards 4, 5, 6, 7. All together will be there. 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 chapters together. So after 3 weeks will be 4 chapters together. And then 8, 9, 10, because this chapter, this 10th is up to 10 only. Okay, let us see. राजोवाच ब्रह्मणा चोदितो ब्रह्मन् गुणाख्याने गुणस्य च यस्मै यस्मै यथा प्राह नारदो देवदर्शनः. So, Brahmana Choditoho Brahman. The king inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, how did Narad Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities and before whom did he speak? He is asking to Sukadeva Goswami. Deva Darshanaha, one whose audience is as good as that of any demigod. Hereabout Narad Muni is given. So how, O Brahmana, O Sukadeva Goswami, Guna Akhyane, please describe. Agunasyaha, Lord has no material qualities, so we want to know about him. Punha Punha Praha, it has been explained by Narad Muni. So how did Narad Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, how did he explain, that is what is the how did he explain the transcendental qualities? And before whom did he speak? एतद् एतद् वेदितुम् इच्छामि तत्त्वं तत्त्वविदाम्बर हरेरद्भुतवीर्यस्य कथालोकसुमङ्गलाः. I want to know. Parishit Maharaj is saying, Etad veditum ichchami. I want to know. Tattvam tattva vidambara. Tattva tattvam vidam. One tattva is Lord's truth. Tattva vidam means one who is well versed in absolute truth. So I wish to know from you. And also Adbhuta Viryasya. His activities are so wonderful. Kataha Lokamangalam. Just by hearing that, it gives auspiciousness. So please describe his activities because you are Tattva Vidam. Kathayasya Mahabhaga Yathahamakhilatmani Krishna Niveshya Nisangam Manastyakshye Kalevaram. So, Sukadeva Goswami, please continue. Kathayasya, please continue speaking of Mahabhaga. Yatha aham akhilatmani. I want to know. I here aham akhilatmani. I want to place niveshya. I want to place my mind in Krishna. Niveshya manaha. I want to place. Because this is only going to relinquish this body. Yakshya kalevaram. So in this way, this is only going to, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. So by hearing Krishna Katha, one becomes transcendental. And it is easy to give up this body. So who will read? Amala Krishna Prabhu, can you read all the 3 verses?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. Text number 1. Brahmana chodito brahman gunakyani gunasya cha yasmai tatha praha nardano deva darshanaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. King Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, how did Narad Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities, and before whom did he speak? Purport. Devarshi Narad was directly instructed by Brahmaji, who was also directly instructed by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the instructions imparted by Narada to his various disciples are as good as those of the Supreme Lord. That is the way of understanding Vedic knowledge. It comes down from the Lord by disciplic succession, and this transcendental knowledge is distributed to the world by this descending process. There is no chance, however, to receive the Vedic knowledge from mental speculators. Therefore, whenever Narad Muni goes, wherever Narad Muni goes, he represents himself as authorized by the Lord, and his appearance is as good as that of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the disciplic succession, which strictly follows the transcendental instruction of the bona fide chain of disciplic succession, and the rest for such bona fide spiritual masters, is that there should be no difference between the instruction of the Lord originally imparted to his devotee and that which is imparted by the authority in the line of disciplic succession. How Narad Muni distributed the transcendental knowledge of the Lord will be explained in later cantos. It will appear also that the Lord existed prior to the material creation, and therefore his transcendental name, quality, etc., do not represent any material quality. Whenever, therefore, the Lord is described as aguna or without any quality, it does not mean that he has no quality, but that he has no material quality, such as the modes of goodness, passion, or ignorance, as the conditioned souls have. He is transcendental to all material conceptions, and thus he is described as a guna. Text 2. Etadvetum ichchami tattvam tattvidam var hareru adbhut viryasya kathaloku sumangalaha. Translation. The king said, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord who possesses wonderful potencies are certainly auspicious for living beings in all planets. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Shrimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrations of the activities of the Supreme Lord, is auspicious for all living beings residing in every planet. One who takes it as belonging to a particular sect is certainly mistaken. Shrimad Bhagavatam is certainly a very dear scripture for all the devotees of the Lord, but it is auspicious even for the non-devotees also, because it explains that even the non-devotees hovering under the spell of material energy can be delivered from such clutches if they hear the narration of Shrimad Bhagavatam with devotion and attention from the right source representing the Lord by disciplic succession. Text 3. Katyasya sumahabhaga yataham khilatmani krishne niveshya nisangam manastakshya kalevaram. Translation. O greatly fortunate Sukhdev Goswami, please continue narrating Shrimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. To be fully engaged in hearing the transcendental narration described in the text of Shrimad Bhagavatam means to constantly associate with the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And to constantly associate with the Supreme Lord Krishna means to be liberated from the qualities of matter. Lord Krishna is like the sun, and material contamination is like darkness. As the presence of the sun dissipates darkness, constant engagement in the association of the Lord Shri Krishna frees one from the contamination of material qualities. Contamination by the material qualities is the cause of repeated birth and death, and liberation from material qualities is transcendence. Maharaj Parikshit was now a realized soul by this secret of liberation through the grace of Sukadeva Goswami, for the latter had informed the king that the highest perfection of life is to be in remembrance of Narayana at the end of life. Maharaja Parikshit was destined to give up his body at the end of 7 days, and thus he decided to continue remembering the Lord by his association with the topics of Shrimad Bhagavatam, and thus to quit his body in full consciousness of the presence of the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul. The hearing of Shrimad Bhagavatam performed by professional men is different from the transcendental hearing of Maharaja Parikshit. Maharaja Parikshit was a soul realized in the absolute truth, Shri Krishna, the personality of God. The fruity materialist is not a realized soul. He wants to derive some material benefit from his so-called hearing of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Undoubtedly, such an audience Hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam from the professional men can derive some material benefit as they desire, but that does not mean that such a pretense of hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam for a week is as good as the hearing of Maharaja Parikshit. It is the duty of the saint to hear Shrimad Bhagavatam from a realized soul, self-realized soul, and not to be duped by professional men. One should continue such hearing till the end of one's life so that one can actually have the transcendental association of the Lord and thus be liberated simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaja Parikshit had already given up all his connections with his kingdom and family, the most attractive features of materialism, but still he was conscious of his material body. He wanted to be free of such bondage also by the constant association of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Now text 4. Shunvatah Shraddhaya Nityam Gृणतश्च स्वचेष्टितम् कालेन नातिदीर्घेण भगवान् विशतेर्धि. Shunvatah Shraddhaya. Just now in third canto also we saw. Vidura says, I want to know more about you, about Lord. I have faith to hear. The same way, one who has faith, they can only hear Nityam Grihataha. They can only take up this matter of hearing very sincerely about Lord, Bhagavan. And Lord appears in their heart. Persons who hear Shrimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, manifested in their heart within a short time. Na ati dirghena, it will not take more time. Lord will manifest. It depends upon how sincere one is to hear about Lord. Kusum read. Kusum read.
श्रवता श्रद्धया नित्यं गृणत च स्वचिस्थितं कालेन नातिदीर्घेन भगवान् विशते हृदि. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. But cheap devotees or materialistic devotees of the Lord are very much desirous of to see the Lord personally without meeting the requisite qualifications. Such third grade devotees should know well that material attachment and seeing the Lord face to face cannot go together. It is not such a mechanical process that the professional Bhagavatam reciters can do the job on behalf of the third grade materialistic pseudo devotee. The professional men are useless in this connection because they are neither self realized nor interested in the liberation of the audience. They are simply interested in maintaining the material establishment of family attachment and earning some material benefits out of the profession. Maharaj Parikshit had no more than 7 days to live, but for others, Maharaj Parikshit personally recommends that one hears Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, Nityam, always by one's own effort and with serious devotion also. That will help one to see that Lord Sri Krishna manifested in one's heart within no time. The pseudo devotee, however, is very anxious to see the Lord according to his whims, not making any serious effort to hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and without detachment from material benefit. That is not the way recommended by an authority like Maharaj Parikshit, who heard and benefited by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Pravishtha Karnarandrena. Pravishtha Karnarandrena. Sthana. Bhavasaroruham. Dhunoti Shamalam Krishna. Salilasya Yatha Shara. Pravishtha Karnarandrena. This enters into the heart. How? Through the Karna. Swanam Bhava Saroruham. So in this way, Saroruha, Lord is seated Saraharuham, in the lotus flower. And Dhunoti Shamalam, all the material qualities are automatically cleansed. Krishna cleanses. Shilasya yathas sharat. In this way, it acts like an autumn rains upon pools of muddy water. So Cheto Darpana Marjanam has been emphasized here. The sound incarnation of Krishna, that is Shrimad Bhagavatam. The importance of hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam has been given. Ashtaprayesha Bhattreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So one has to every day hear Bhagavatam. So by Krishna's mercy, we do morning Chaitanya Bhagavat. Krishna's glorifications are very important. Shrimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavatam. One has to be absorbed in hearing the transcendental qualities of Lord. Narayana, read. Narayana.
Mataji, I can read in some time, Mataji. I've just come from outside, Mataji.
Amal Prabhu, can you read? Amal Krishna Prabhu, read.
पर्विष्टकर्णरन्ध्रेण स्वानाभावसरोरुहं दुनोति शमलं कृष्णा सलिलस्य यथा शरत्. Translation purported by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: the sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, that is Shrimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. Purport. It is said that a single pure devotee of the Lord can deliver all the fallen souls of the world. Thus, one who is actually in the confidence of a pure devotee like Narada or Sukadeva Goswami, and thus is empowered by one's spiritual master as Narada was by Brahmaji, can not only deliver himself from the clutches of Maya or illusion, but can deliver the whole world by his pure and empowered devotional strength. The comparison to the autumnal rain that falls on muddy reservoirs of water is very appropriate. During the rainy season, all the waters of the rivers become muddy. But in the month of July, August, the autumn season, when there is a slight rainfall, the muddy waters of the rivers all over the world become at once clear. By addition of some chemical, a small reservoir of water, like that of a metropolitan water works tank, can be cleared, but by such a tiny effort, it is not possible to clear up all the reservoirs of water like the rivers. A powerful, pure devotee of the Lord, however, can deliver not only his personal self, but also many others in his association. In other words, the cleansing of the polluted heart by other methods, like the culture of empiric knowledge or mystic gymnastics, can simply cleanse one's own heart. But devotional service to the Lord is so powerful that it can cleanse the hearts of the people in general by the devotional service of the pure, empowered devotee. A true representative of the Lord, like Narad, Sukadeva Goswami, Lord Chaitanya, and six Goswamis, and later Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Srimad Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur, etc., can deliver all people by their empowered devotional service. By sincere efforts to hear Shrimad Bhagavatam, one realizes his constitutional relationship with the Lord in the transcendental humor of servitude, friendship, paternal affection, or conjugal love, and by such self-realization, one becomes situated at once in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Not only were all the pure devotees like Narada self-realized souls, but they were engaged in preaching work automatically by spiritual impetus, and thus they delivered many poor souls entangled in the material modes. They became so powerful because they sincerely followed the Bhagavatam principles by regular hearing and worshipping. By such actions, the accumulated material lusts, etc., become cleansed by the personal endeavor of the Lord within the heart. The Lord is always within the heart of the living being, but he becomes manifested by one's devotional service. Purification of the heart by culture of knowledge or mystic yoga may be all right for the time being for an individual person, but it is like the cleansing of a small quantity of stagnant water by chemical processes. Such clarification of water may stand for the time being and the sediments settle down, but by a slight agitation, everything becomes muddy. The idea is that devotional service to the Lord is the only method of cleansing the heart for good, whereas other methods may be superficially good for the time being. There is a risk of becoming muddy again due to agitation of the mind. Devotional service to the Lord with specific attention for hearing Shrimad Bhagvatam regularly and always is the best recommended method for liberation from the clutches of illusion. Hare Krishna.
धौतात्मा पुरुष कृष्ण पादमूलं न मुञ्चति मुक्त सर्व परिक्लेशः पान्तः स्वशरणं यथा. So in this way the heart is cleansed. Dhaut atma, dhuna. So in this way the heart, here atma refers to the heart, to the consciousness. So dirty things which has been encovering our pure consciousness. So the living entity is completely cleansed. Krishna Padamudam, he has taken the shelter of the Lord. Na munchati, never gives up. And this is really mukti. What is the meaning of mukti? Sarva pari klesha. He becomes free from all the miseries of life. Pantaha swa sharanam yatha. In this way, Lord gives him, as a traveler is satisfied by going after a troubled journey, in the same way, after undergoing so many miserable situations, a devotee is so happy that he can go back home, back to God. Getting even service of Krishna, that is Vaikuntha. Iha yasya harer dase karmana manasagra niklashapi avasthasu jivan mukta suchyate. Within this lifetime itself, a person is liberated if he gets service at the lotus feet of Krishna. Kusum, read.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Dhautatma Purusha Krishna Padamulam na munchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Panta Sharanam Yatha. Translation in purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. A pure devotee of the Lord, whose heart has once been cleansed by the process of devotional service, never relinquishes the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, for they fully satisfy him as a traveler is satisfied at home after a troubled journey. Purport: one who is not a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna is not completely cleansed in the heart, but a perfectly cleansed person never quits the devotional service of the Lord. In discharging such devotional service as ordered by Brahmaji to Narada in the preaching of Shrimad Bhagvatam, sometimes a representative of the Lord engaged in preaching work meets various so-called difficulties. This was exhibited by Lord Nityananda when he delivered the two fallen souls, Jagai and Madai, and similarly, Lord Jesus Christ was crucified by the non-believers. But such difficulties are very gladly suffered by the devotees in preaching because in such activities, although apparently very severe, the devotees of the Lord feel transcendental pleasure because the Lord is satisfied. Prahlad Maharaj suffered greatly, but still he never forgot the lotus feet of the Lord. This is because a pure devotee of the Lord is so purified in his heart that he cannot leave the shelter of Lord Krishna in any circumstances. There is no self interest in such service. The progress of culturing knowledge by the jnanis or the bodily gymnastics by the yogis are ultimately given up by the respective performers, but the devotee of the Lord cannot give up the service of the Lord, for he is ordered by his spiritual master. Pure devotees like Narada and Nityananda Prabhu take up the order of the spiritual master as a sustenance of life. They do not mind what becomes of the future of their lives. They take the matter very seriously as the order comes from the higher authority, from the representative of the Lord, or from the Lord himself. The example set herein is very appropriate. The traveler leaves home to search for wealth in far distant places, sometimes in the forest, and sometimes on the ocean, and sometimes on hilltops. Certainly, there are many troubles for the traveler when he is in such unknown places. But all such troubles are at once mitigated as soon as the sense of his family affection is remembered, and as soon as he returns home, he forgets all such troubles on the way. A pure devotee of the Lord is exactly the family tie with the Lord, and therefore he is undeterred in discharging his duty in a full affectionate tie with the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Next one. Yat adbhutamato brahman deharambho स्य धातुभिः यदृच्छया हेतुना वा यदृच्छया हेतुना वा भवन्तो जानते यथा. So, O Brahmana, Brahman refers to Brahmana. Yad adbhutamato. Adhatu, sorry. Yad adhatu mato. Adhatu mato. Without being materially constituted. So this soul has no material constitution. How does then deha arambha? So in the beginning, how did Asya he acquired his material body? Dhatubihi. What was the cause? Yadruchaya was it without cause or accidental? Hetuna, there must be some cause. So please inform me, kindly tell me. So, O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you explain this? What is known to you? I just see this body is so valuable. Today, one of our Gurukul boys, Balakrishna, his name is, his mother did suicide. She committed suicide and she gave up her life. You see how easily it is easy to give up the body, isn't it? How difficult it is to get. So there was a confusion actually in the evening. The child somehow he adjusted the Gurukul atmosphere. He loves his mother so much. How to make him know that the mother has gone? So let us see. When a person gets a body, we don't value the body. Is the suicide just a relief? No. So the subtle body suffers because the gross body is lost. The subtle body is not lost. So Nikhil read Narayana read.
Yes, Mataji. यत धातु मतो ब्रह्मन् देहारम्भोऽस्य धातुभिः यदृच्छया हेतुना वा भवन्तो जानते यथा. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you? Maharaj Parikshit, being a typical devotee, is not only satisfied by confirming the importance of hearing the Shrimad Bhagvatam from the representative of Brahmaji by disciplic succession, but he is still more anxious to establish the philosophical basis of Shrimad Bhagvatam. Shrimad Bhagavatam is the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, all must be cleared by the statements of the authority. And as such, all questions that may arise in the mind of a serious student must be cleared by the statements of the authority. A person on the path of devotional service may inquire from his spiritual master all about the spiritual position of God and the living beings. From the Bhagavad Gita as well as from the Shrimad Bhagavatam, it is known that qualitatively the Lord and the living beings are one. The living being in the conditioned state of material existence is subjected to many transmigrations by continuous changing of the material body. But what are the causes of the material embodiment of the part and parcel of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit inquires about this very important matter for the benefit of all classes of candidates on the path of self realization and devotional service to the Lord. Indirectly, it is confirmed that the Supreme Being, the Lord, makes so much material changes of the body, makes no such material changes of the body. He is spiritually whole, but with no difference between his body and his soul, unlike the conditioned soul. The liberated living beings who associate with the Lord in person are also exactly like the Lord. Only the conditioned souls awaiting liberation are subjected to the changes of the body. How was the process first begun? In the process of devotional service, the first step is to take shelter of the spiritual master and then inquire from the spiritual master all about the process. This inquiry is essential for immunity to all kinds of offenses on the path of devotional service. Even if one is fixed in devotional service like Maharaj Parikshit, he must still inquire from the realized spiritual master all about this. In other words, the spiritual master must also be well versed and learned so that he may be able to answer all these inquiries from the devotees. Thus, one who is not well versed in the authorized scriptures and not able to answer all such relevant inquiries should not pose as a spiritual master for the matter of material gain. It is illegal to become a spiritual master if one is unable to deliver the disciple. Hare Krishna. Krishna.
The spiritual master also should be well versed, and there should be an inquiry done by the devotee. So devotee has faith in Krishna's activities. That is why he inquires. The more he has faith, the more he can acquire the knowledge. So then next. आसीद्यदूदरात् पद्मं लोकसंस्थान रक्षणं यावानयं वै पुरुषः. One second. One second. Yeah. यावानयं वै पुरुषः यत्तावयवै पृथक् तावान साविति प्रोक्तः संस्थावयववानिव. So the inquiry starts with, who am I? The transcendental inquiry starts with the spirit soul. Who am I? How did I get this body? What is the law of karma? Is there life after death? From there only the transcendental inquiry starts. So exactly like this, Parikshit Maharaj is also inquiring. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body, according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and that of the common living entities? You see the question, so nice. What is the difference between the body of Krishna and body of the living entities? Asuhu yad udarata, from Lord's body, abdomen, a lotus stem sprouts, and there loka samsthana, all the world is situated in that lotus stem. Then, I want to know, yataha anya anvayaha, this embodied beings, what is the difference? Prutak. He is huge in size. So naturally, all the world is situated in his abdomen, the stem which is coming out of the abdomen. So, what is the difference between his body and the body acquired by the living entities? Aja sujati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat tadrashe yena tadrupam nabhi padma samudbhavah. Now Brahma, who was not born of a material soul, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. So he is Ajaha. He's not, Ajaha means he has no material birth. Sujati Bhutani, he creates all those materially born. That means he is the sub-creator, secondary creator of the body for all the Bhutatma. That means one who is having the body of matter. And by the anugraha of Lord, he could see Tadrupam. And he has come from the navel of the Samudbhavaha, he is born. So he wants explanation now. He wants to learn more about Sachapi Yatra Purusho Vishwastitiyo na Vishwastiti Udbhavat Muktvatma Vamaya Mayeshaha Shete Sarva Guhashaya. So please explain the personality of God who lies in every heart as a super soul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy. So we want to know about him. He is also seated in our heart. How is it that he is not touched by the external energy? Now, in this body, the soul is also there, the super soul is also there. The soul is affected. Paropi manute anartham, considers body to be everything. How is it that Lord is not affected? All these questions, just see, they are very valuable questions. Such a api, page went here. Such a api yatraha purusha. Api means even though he is there. Vishwa sthiti, he is maintaining the world, is creating the world, annihilating the world. But muktva, how is it that he is not affected? Atma Maya, he does all this by his own energy. Maya, Isha, he is the Lord of all the energies. Sarva Guha Shaya, he lies in everyone's heart. Shete means lies down. How is it that he is not affected? Amal Prabhu, please read. Amal Krishna Prabhu. All the three verses read. Till 10.
Okay, 8, 9, 10. Okay, text 8. आसीदयुदोदात्पद्यं लोकसंस्थानलक्षणं यावानयं वै पुरुष इयत्ता अवयै पृथक् तावानासौ इति प्रोक्ता संस्था अव्यववानि वा. Translation. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities? Purport. One should note how Maharaj Parikshit intelligently put questions before his spiritual master for scientific understanding of the transcendental body of the Lord. It has been described in many places before this that the Lord assumed a gigantic body like that of Karnodakshai Vishnu, from whose hair pores innumerable universes have generated. The body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu is described as sprouting the lotus stem within which all the planets of the universe remain, and at the top of the stem is the lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born. In the creation of the material world, the Supreme Lord undoubtedly assumes a gigantic body, and living entities also get bodies, big or small, according to necessity. For example, an elephant gets a gigantic body according to its needs, and so also an ant gets its body according to its needs. Similarly, if the personality of Godhead assumes a gigantic body to accommodate the universes or the planets of a particular universe, there is no difference in the principle of assuming or accepting a particular type of body in terms of necessity. A living being and the Lord cannot be distinguished simply by the difference in the magnitude of the body. So the answer depends on the specific significance of the body of the Lord as distinguished from the body of the common living being. Text 9. Ajasrajati bhutani bhutatma yattanugrahat drashye yena tradupa nabhipadda samudbhavaha. Translation. Brahma, who was not born out of a material source, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. Purport. The first living creature, Brahma, is called Aja because he did not take his birth from the womb of a mother materially born. He was directly born from the bodily expansion of the lotus flower of the Lord. Thus, it is not readily understandable whether the body of the Lord and that of the Brahma are of the same quality or different. This must also be clearly understood. One thing is, however, certain, Brahma was completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord because after his birth, he could create living beings by the Lord's grace only, and he could see the form of the Lord. Whether the form seen by Brahma is of the same quality as that of Brahma is a bewildering question, and Maharaj Parikshit wanted to get clear answers from Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Text 10. सा चापि यत्र पुरुषो विश्वसहिस्थिति उद्भवप्यव्या मुक्तवा आत्ममायां मायेशा शेते सर्वगुहाशयः. Translation. Please also explain the personality of Godhead who lies in every heart as the super soul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy. Purport. Undoubtedly, the form of the Lord who was seen by Brahma must be transcendental. Otherwise, how could he simply look upon the creative energy without being touched? It is understood also that the same Purusha lies in the heart of every living entity. This also requires proper explanation. Hare Krishna.
So in this way, he wants to know more about the super soul who is seated in everyone's heart. How is it that he is not affected? Why the living entity is affected? What is the difference between the body of God and body of a living entity? How does the living entity acquires the body? So in this way, multiple questions are asked. So from text, one more verse will take the questions whatever have been asked, and then anyhow the answers will be coming up. So one more questions. Let us see. Purusha vayirloka sapala purva kalpitah lokai लोकैरमुष्या वयवः स पालेर् इति शुश्रुमा. O learned Brahmana, it was formally explained that all the planets of the universe with the respective governors are situated in the different parts of the gigantic body of the Virata Purusha. I have also heard different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virata Purusha, but what is their actual position? Will you explain that? Purushaha, that means the universal form of the body. Purusha Avyaya, in the different parts. Lokaha Sapalaha, with the different governors, they're all there. Purva Kalpitaha, I have discussed this, I have heard this. I want to know more about it. Lokahi Amushyaha Abhyaha, in the different parts there. I have heard it Sapalaha. So Lord, in the Lord's body, all the universes exist. So this Virata Purusha, I want to know about it. I want to know about the Virata Purusha. So we'll end the class here. Because still many questions are there. And I have to talk to those parents and father also. So he'll stop. Tuesday we'll meet. So study for the exam very nicely. 1, 2, 3. And then 4, 5, 6, 7. All 4 will be together. And 8, 9, 10 will be the last exam. We'll try to cover these portions by June. Okay? So the third canto can be started. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.